Hey guys, it's Anita with MTL Dip. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do a dip powder manicure using nail tips. So tune in to see how I do that using the Ava Nail Dip Powder System. This is Chloe, by the way. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Say hi! You like mommy's nails? It's like, do my nails, mom. Do my nails.
Just to let you guys know, I actually buy my tips on Amazon. You could buy a lot of different types of tips on Amazon. I prefer the transparent ones, but obviously you could buy whatever you like. They have white ones, transparent ones, some that are a little bit bigger, some that are smaller. I also buy the ones that are kind of like shaped in a way where they're rounded at the edges, but also square, just so you guys could see. They range in different sizes. They number them from 0 to 9. And on the side, I actually buy some glue so that they could stick on. This is the nail glue I use. It's from Nailene Clear. It's ultra quick glue. Honestly, it literally feels like super glue. When you have it on, like your tips do not move. So what you gotta do first is you need to measure out the tip with your nails. I have all mine all pre-measured here just to show you guys. So it goes from my thumb all the way down to my pinky. This is for my left hand. This is the thumb, but just to give you an example, we're gonna go onto the second finger here. When you wanna put the tip on, you wanna make sure that the sides of the tip are actually not touching your skin and that they fit very well and comfortable. Afterwards, when you glue them on, you're gonna put them on like that. You're gonna make sure it's straight. A lot of the times, some fingers are crooked, so you need to make sure that you're angling the tip the same angle as the finger and not just looking at the sides of the nail, because if you do that, sometimes it'll actually be really crooked. So that being said, let's get started. We're actually gonna start with getting the glue, and we're gonna open it up. You don't need to shake it or anything. I generally don't put that much glue on. You only need just a little droplet to actually put it on straight. So what you wanna do is you wanna hold the tip down this way, because the last thing you want is to actually put it this way and have the glue fall backwards. So you're gonna wanna put the nail tip at an angle and just put just a little drop of glue. I'm gonna put this down, cap it. You're gonna wanna keep it down just to let it settle just a little bit for a little while, not that long. And then you're gonna wanna put your finger straight. Obviously, if you're doing this on someone else, it's a lot easier, but you're gonna wanna put your finger straight. You're gonna wanna put the tip down straight, and then you're gonna wanna push it and hold it there for a little bit. You only need to hold it for about 3 to 5 seconds, not more. I like to hold it for a little while just to ensure that it's on there and there's no air bubbles inside. And that should be good enough. So there you go. We've got the one nail tip on, as you could see. I mean, it's, you know, depending on what your finger and the nail tip, it's not always gonna be 100%, but like generally this one's pretty good. It fit really well. So that's the first one. You're gonna go ahead and do that for all the rest of your 5 fingers. It's always good to go ahead and pinch the sides too, just to make sure that they're secure. And we have our first set of nail tips on. Go ahead and trim them down and shape them, and then they'll be ready for dip. I actually bought this on Amazon as well. It's really awesome, super easy to use. What you wanna do is you wanna pick your preferred length and just actually hold it this way. So you wanna actually have this like this so that it cuts away from you. You're gonna put your thumb in with the nail and you're gonna cut it at your desired length. So I like to just go like little by little here. Then I'll, you know, go back and cut a little bit more, depending on where we're at. So I'm gonna go ahead and start filing them down and rounding them off. So I'm gonna start with shaping them first, and then afterwards I'm gonna go in and I'm going to, you know, buff them out, make them more cohesive with the whole nail so that they look more natural afterwards. So it's gonna be a little loud. So just a really quick note to let you guys know, usually when you're filing your tips, depending on how much filing you're doing, there's gonna be a little film of the tip, the nail tip that's gonna start to form at the edge of the nail. And the easiest way to actually get rid of that is to take your nail file. This is 100 to 180 grit. I usually, when I'm doing my nail filing, I'll go on the least rough spot or side, and I'll go right at the edge of the nail and I'll just quickly just file upwards towards me. And that'll easily get rid of that film that usually starts to produce at the tip of the nail. So I gotta say, I'm kind of happy with the way my nail tips look right now. And we're gonna go ahead, and what we're gonna try to do is we're going to rough up the nails. We're gonna rough up the area where the tip actually meets the real nail. As you guys could see, the nail is here, and then once you reach the tip, you could actually feel the tip when it touches the nail, and that's not good. So what you wanna do is you wanna file down a little bit of that area so that when you pass your nails over it, you don't feel it as much, and that will then create a nice natural look. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do that now. And just a quick note, just so you guys know, the amount of filing you're gonna have to do on each and every nail tip is gonna be different depending on the finger. Sometimes the nail tip will blend in very well with the finger. You won't have that much filing to do. And sometimes you're gonna have a lot of filing to do, especially in the corners, depending on how well the tip is sitting on that individual nail. But some things to always keep in mind is that you always wanna file the nail tip and never your own nail bed. And you're gonna wanna go and work slowly and actually just feel for everything as you go along. You file, you feel with your finger, you file, you feel with your finger, until it feels kind of all blended together. Obviously, it's never gonna be 100% blended. It is a nail tip on top of a nail bed, but as blended as possible, that's what's gonna really make your nail afterwards and your dip manicure look really great without any bumps in it. Alrighty guys, everything has been blended. Just a quick little mention, you want to make sure that when you're actually blending the sides of your tip, your nail, you want to make sure that you're going to use the softer side of your nail file. And that is because sometimes if you over file where your tip meets your nail, especially on the edges, it might actually remove too much tip and therefore remove too much glue, which will then loosen your nail tip. So you really want to make sure that you pay attention, you keep feeling for it, don't overdo it, just file down enough so that you don't feel that big, change in between your tip and your nail. And that's it for filing. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start cuticle prep, and then afterwards we're gonna go ahead into our dip manicure. Okay guys, so now that we actually finished our tip blending into our natural nail, we're gonna go ahead and do cuticle prep. So as you guys have seen in one of my first videos for cuticle prep and actually how to do your dip powder manicure, you wanna go ahead and moisten all your cuticles, and then you wanna push them back. And then once that's done, I'm gonna go in with my nail file. I'm gonna quickly get rid of all of the dead skin around the cuticle area. So as you guys have previously seen, but I'm quickly gonna let you know, this is a cuticle remover I use. It's from Blue Cross. I got it on Amazon. It's honestly, as it says, it's quick, easy, and super safe. I go ahead and I put a drop on each individual nail, and then afterwards I wait maybe a minute or two. Once that's done, I'll go back and I'll push all the cuticles. Alrighty, now that everything is pushed back, I'm gonna go in with my e-file. My tip that I'm using is actually a tip for cuticle prep. I'm gonna show it to you guys here. It's very delicate, it's nothing crazy. It just goes in and it'll take away all that dry skin all around the cuticle that we really wanna remove, so that the base for our dip powder will actually adhere much better in that area. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm looking at my nails now. Generally, you need to go into your base of your nail and just give it a bit of a buff to be able to make sure that everything will adhere better to your tip and your nail. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so now that I'm back, I went ahead and washed my hands. I made sure that there's no lint on them. I went over them with a lint-free wipe just really quickly just to make sure. And now they're ready to go. So we're gonna go into dip. The first thing we do, as you guys know, is put in the base coat. Here I'm using Ava Base #1. We're gonna go in at a 45-degree angle. We're gonna put the base coat on each individual nail, and then we're gonna dip in our powder. This is the color that I chose. For me, it's #4. But let me give you guys actually a little preview. These are all the colors that I have. I have a lot of different ones on this one. So this is what this color looks like. As always, you guys want to shake your powder just to make sure it's super dispersed before dipping into it. I like to knock it, shake it before we start. Alrighty, so now that we've done our 2 coats of dip powder, at this point, don't worry if your nails are a little bit bumpy in some areas. It's completely normal. That's the whole point of buffing and filing before we put our final coat on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put on number 2, the activator. So I'm gonna go ahead and close my powder. Now that it's completely closed, this is what we're gonna put on right now. This is what solidifies the powder all the way through down to your nail and make sure that it gets super hard enough to buff. Alrighty, so now that the activator has been on for about 5 minutes or so, everything is completely hardened. So what you want to do now is actually just analyze your nails, take a look at them. Sometimes when you have tips on certain fingers, it'll look a bit bumpy towards the sides or it'll look a bit bumpy on the top. Sometimes it's just the way the base was put on and the way the dip powder just adhered to the base. So the whole point right now is to just buff everything out, file where you could file, make the nail look a little bit more uniform, and then it'll be ready for its final and top coat. Now that that's done, what you want to do now is spray some more rubbing alcohol on that to get rid of all of the leftover powder and dust that you just filed off. And this will clean your nails and prep them for the top coat. So last but not least, we are gonna put the top coat. Here it is, number 3. As you guys have already seen, that is the top coat to put on top of your nails once they're prepped and ready. All right, this is with the first coat. We're gonna wait for that to dry and then we're gonna put on our second and final coat. And there you have it, guys. We have our dip manicure with tips all done on one hand. And now I'm gonna have to go ahead and do my second hand.